Hello everybody. I am about to start sewing. So I've been teaching myself how to sew over the last couple weeks. I've been a crocheter for over 15 years and I've started to experience carpal tunnel symptoms in my left tension hand, and so I have taught myself how to knit, and now I whimsically bought a sewing machine one day and decided that I wanted to learn how to sew. I have the quilting bug, but I can't afford to make everybody quilts for Christmas. So I have designed my own pot holders for everybody. So I bought these kind of affordable fat quarter bundles stack on Amazon, and I will try my best to remember to link it down below if you're interested. And then I just have a couple custom fabrics for a couple custom people that I know would love a fabric like that. That's just another fat quarter from Walmart, and then I just picked some other fabrics off of Amazon. But here's the pot holders that I have made. This is my first Christmas present set. So this is for my aunt. She loves purple, as do I. So it's two regular pot holders and one like flat one, but I also wanted it to be like you could kind of carry something too if you needed to. So I made these little handles on here. I don't know if you can see them or not, but they're kind of fun. So this was my first one. Over the weekend I have attempted many pot holders. I made two. These are fake ones because they have towels in the middle, so I can't actually use these, but like this was the first one I made, and it's not very pretty. The stitching is really bad. And then the second one I made is a little bit better. It's not fantastic. But then when I made these guys, you know, they're so far a lot better. So, yeah, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I got like 10 to make. I don't know the exact number. I keep thinking of more people. But I'm going to do my best to try and batch sew these, because now I think it's called batch sewing. Now I know what I need to do and how I need to do it. So yeah, I will kind of come through and talk about things maybe. I don't know. It's my first video, so bear with me, but let's get ready to rock, I guess. Oh, and there's Goose. Say hi, Gooby. Goose. I want to preface this by saying that I am a fully self-taught beginner, so I know nothing. Anything that I say or do is not like words of wisdom. It is words of trial. If you have any points or you're like, hey dude, come on, there's an easier way to do that, please let me know. Just be kind. I found the very first pot holder I made. So this one, which I learned is much more forgiving fabric. It's, if it'll focus, it's this really nice floral print fabric that one of my customers at work gave me when she heard that I bought a sewing machine. And you know, it's honestly not bad. This was the very first one compared to that first pink one that I showed you. I think it came out better, but who knows. I did put the binding on wrong on this first one compared to the others, so I kind of noticed that halfway through and was like, meh. So I didn't even finish the tab on this guy. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of do that, and then in case anybody wanted to know what kind of tea I'm drinking, today it is a caramel apple dream. It's very November. It's November 9th right now, and so I thought this one would be a good one to have while I start sewing and quilting and doing all the fun stuff. So yeah, please, if you see that I'm doing anything wrong or have any better recommendations on how I could do it better, please just comment down below. And if you have any tea recommendations too, I do like me some tea, so thanks. One more thing, really fast. I realized I didn't show you guys. This is the whole set of fabric so far. I have some stuff that's still on the way, like these green ones are missing their final piece. But yeah, these are my guys. I got my thrift store ironing board, that's what it's called, and my mom gave me an iron, and yeah, so time to get rocking. I probably won't pre-cut the ones that aren't a full set yet, because I don't know what's gonna be what yet. I guess I want to sit it with all the fabric and decide. So like this one I will pre-cut because I have all 3 colors. This one, Nicole is a very special lady. She was my best friend. She was my maid of honor. I am going to make her kind of a different set than this one. I want to make her pot holders and a table run instead because we spend a lot of time at her dining room table. Their house is kind of the hangout house. Sorry if you can hear my washing machine. It likes to try to take off into space. But she's also very particular, and so this is gonna be one of the last ones after I have quite a bit of quilting practice and binding practice. That's when I'm gonna come and do this one. I even may buy more fabric because it's a really special present that I'm gonna make for her. And then my other best friend, she is going to school in an accelerated nursing program right now, so I'm thinking about learning how to make her like a little go bag, but it has like, you know, all the essentials of what you would need. She's also working 2 jobs and doing the program, so I want to make her like a little care package almost, but in a little carrying bag that I made. And then this yellow set is for my husband's grandma. She quilts and has inspired me extremely to start quilting. The only thing is these yellows are really similar, so I might switch one of the yellows out with the sunflower fabric. I just realized that. So I might do that. I have some scraps and stuff. And then the Broncos fabric is for my grandma. I might make her a walker hang because the first purple set you saw is my aunt's, and my grandma lives at my aunt's, so they could use 2 sets of their own pot holders, but my grandma might also just enjoy having a carrying pouch for her walker. So we shall see. I don't know quite yet. I do have quite a bit of this fabric too, so I may be able to do both. I'll probably do one and then see how much I have for the other. This is for my mother-in-law, and so is this like chili pepper fabric. I don't know if I'm just gonna do them together or make 2 different sets, or do like this fabric for the hot pad and then this one for the pot holders, or you know, one of each. Or make them reversible, so instead of doing the front and then the back plain, like doing a pattern like that, I could do one side the sugar skulls and then the other side the peppers. I don't know, we shall see when I get there. My work, this fabric was kind of expensive. It's sparkly, which is cool. It's got like glitter around the skulls. You can't see it. It's got glitter around the skulls, which is really pretty. And so this is another one of those that I'm going to probably save towards the end, because the fabric was kind of expensive for my personal taste. And then the chilies was another one from that same customer that gave me those. So, oh, and then one last one is for my cousin, because she is living with her boyfriend for the first time. So I thought this nice pink combo would be good for her because she is a pink girl. So yeah, let's get started. Chop chop. total scrub. I don't know if you noticed in the time lapse, but I messed up. So my measurements need to be, and I'll show you, I guess, with my backing fabric. The final pot holders will be 6 by 6 inches wide, and so I need my starting squares to be 7.5 to account for seam allowance. And I did really good on the pot holder squares. So these are fine. My pot holder measurements, perfect. Which I messed up on the purple sets. It was a little bit awkward, you know, whatever. So where I messed up this time around is the hot pads. Final measurement is going to be 10 by 12. So the original measurement needs to be 12 by 15, or sorry, 12.5 by 15 to account for the quarter seam allowance. Now here's where I messed up. I somehow, I ruined a whole fat quarter because I can't measure and I was too focused in my head thinking about other things, which, lesson learned, focus when measuring. Maybe I didn't, I messed up again. But so when I was cutting the strips, I folded it in half and I cut 7.5 because I need each strip to be 2.5 inches wide, and that's what I did for the regular squares, was 2.5. Somehow in my head I cut 7.5, and then I laid them out and I started to slice my 2.5 little squares or strips, and I did one that was 2.5, which was correct, and then the next one was 2 3/4, and then the last one ended up being 2 1/4. But I didn't have enough fabric left on, well, in my head I thought, oh, you know, I will, you know, cut out my 7.5 square really quick, and then I will make the 2.5 strips again. Well, I didn't have a long enough piece of fabric to account for the 15, so these are 2.5 by 15 strips, which is what I need for the hot pads. So I sat there for a minute and thought, and I was like, okay, maybe I'll just cut out a little square to make up for it, and we can figure it out. But I need my binding tape as well, so I ended up just making each strip 2 1/4, and then I had to go back in and make the hot pink strips also 2 1/4. So this hot pad will be slightly smaller than all the other ones, but hey, at least I could think of a solution quickly. For my backing, I don't have enough to make it binding as well, so I'm using the pinks for binding. The hot pink excess, the hot pink excess binding tape is for the big hot pad, and then the light pink will be for the pot holders. I think it'll look nice. The purple set was the opposite, and it looked okay, but I think the bigger one will be a nicer contrast to have all three contrasting. And then the tabs on my pot holders will still be the backing color, because then I have enough fabric for everything out of my little 19 by 19 fat quarters I have. So yeah. So while I'm kind of pairing together these strips, I kind of wanted to talk about crocheting and what inspired me to start quilting and that kind of thing. So I have been crocheting since I was 8 years old. My grandma taught me after school, and I loved it ever since. She would give me all her leftover projects. For the longest time, I didn't know how to start a chain, so my grandma would always do the chain and start the first foundation row, and then I would just shiver on my way down the way until finally I kind of got used to using YouTube actually, and started finding more tutorials, and I found a love for clothes making. I love making cardigans and wearables and just beautiful pieces of clothing that way. And so that's kind of what I do with crochet. I have been experiencing carpal tunnel symptoms in my tension hand. So those of you that are here for the sewing, not the crochet content, you have a hand that holds the yarn and a hand that holds the hook. My pain is in the hand that holds the yarn, and there's not really a good solution for that. So I started looking into different crafts and hobbies, and I still crochet from time to time, but it locks up my arm for a couple days if I do a lot of extreme crocheting, and I need my hands for work. So that's not really too much of an option anymore. I taught myself how to knit last year, and that was pretty easy. I'll probably do a couple knitting vlogs, or show you what I'm working on here and there. This will be mostly quilting content that I know of, but who knows. I play video games, I crochet, I knit, I do all the things. I'm just fixated on quilting right now. What else? Oh, I could probably show you guys at some point what some of the things I've made, and you can find me at Alora's Mad Cardigans, Alora's_Mad Cardigans on Instagram, and that's where you can see some of my wearables, so be sure to give it a follow on there. But what inspired me to start quilting, besides, the pain in my hand and not being able to do my main favorite hobby, was there's a YouTube channel called The Last Homely House, and she makes all these wonderful sporadically planned quilts. So she doesn't terribly think about it other than like, will this color clash with each other? But she makes some really beautiful pieces, and every time I watch one of her videos, I get so inspired. So I decided I wanted to try quilting, but I had originally started trying to make clothes. So I made a really awful skirt, because in my head I thought, oh, I can crochet clothes, so I can make clothes sewing wise, and I decided it wasn't for me, but I'd already bought a sewing machine, so I decided to try quilting. I already have fallen in love doing that. I made a top quilt, already, but I'm waiting to put that together with my husband's grandma, because I'm a little bit I'm intimidated by it. But yeah, so far I'm having a lot of fun. I hope you guys are having fun watching. And let's start sewing it all together, I think, is my next step. Maybe a little bit of ironing here and there. But yeah. Alrighty, so really quick, while I am rethreading my machine and my bobbin, I wanted to show you what I bought, because I was just, every time I needed thread, I was going to the store and buying one spool and then refilling my bobbins. But I knew that I was going to be making a lot of different colored pot holders, so I got this on Amazon, which I think is a really good friendly option, like for beginner friendly. And it is these beautiful spools, and there's like every color under the sun of thread, and then they're matching bobbins, and I can get about a bobbin and a half or so out of the pot holder so far, and that was with I want to call it frogging, but seam ripping. So I really recommend it. I will link it down below, but yeah, let's get thread in the machine, I guess. I've done a ton of research on my own, of all these little things and recommendations and, tutorial videos on how to thread your machine and just other troubleshooting. That first skirt I made, I ended up, there we go. I ended up nesting my bobbin so many times, and I have no idea why. Oh no, I do. I remember. The needles that my machine came with, because I bought it used, were so bad and dingy, and I had no idea. And I had no idea that could cause a nesting issue, and so I had to take apart my bobbin manually quite a few times, which I know is not recommended. Like, you know, the piece in here, I took it all apart and out. And yeah, so I know my machine really well now. And I can thread it like no other because of all the times I had to take apart my bobbin and all the trial and error just in making that skirt. And I think my machine will be full of red lint forever, it feels like. But yeah, and then I made this little makeshift 1/4 inch piece of tape. So a lot of people use that washi tape, but I don't have money to buy every single you know, quilting knickknack, and so I can't buy a 1/4 inch foot, and I can't buy the washi tape right now. So I just made my own washi tape, and I measured out a 1/4 inch as best I could and drew it down here. And then if anybody, I don't know if this is a common thing or not, but the Homely House uses, she calls this a dust bunny. I don't know what they're actually called, if there's a different name, but she puts this in and keeps using it, and I don't know if other people use it, but it has been an absolute lifesaver because my least favorite part so far has been starting and stopping. So yeah, let's get started. Okay, so I sewed all my blocks together. My seams look fabulous. One little thing, this one's definitely wonky, but I had a lady at my place tell me that if you can't see your imperfections while riding on the back of a horse, then it doesn't really matter. So that's what I'm living by, because I don't have time to seam rip every minor decision. So yeah, now we're just gonna jump head first into some more slicing and dicing. I gotta square up these edges a little bit, and then they're gonna be cut into another set of 2.5 on this one and 2 1/4 on this one, so that they match because of my error. And we'll keep trucking along. I might go to bed sooner than later, but we shall see. I got my chart made. It is not sewn together. I have a strip extra, and I'm trying to decide if I want to add it. I don't think I'll have enough binding, so that's a risk. But I did shorten these blocks, and they're gonna get just a little bit shorter. So it could work because it'll be a 10 by 10 now. Right? I think. I don't know how the math works, but so I'm probably gonna go sleep on it and then maybe come back tomorrow. If not tomorrow, definitely Tuesday. So, but that's no different for you guys. I'll see you in the next clip, I guess. So, have a good night. Good night from Goose, who really wants a cucumber. If you love him, buy Goose a cucumber. Just kidding. But have a good night, y'all. Hello, it's future me. So me the next day, because I just said goodnight to y'all. I didn't realize how long of a video this was going to be. So this is now a part series. Welcome to part 1. And well, I guess for you guys, the end of part 1. I finished where you guys just saw me, so with my strips all not put together, so don't worry, I'm not like super far in the future me. I'm just on the next day me. So when you see the next episode, part 2, I will be in the same outfit because, yeah, I imagine all of the pot holders are going to kind of be like their own series or half episodes, I don't know, of me making each one. So probably just going to be like a Christmas craft with me through the holidays kind of thing. So we'll see how far I get and if I add anything extra, and then that way you guys have stuff to watch, hopefully, and I can actually start getting, you know, content out there. Yeah, so I guess this is the part where I say like and subscribe, and give me a follow at Alora's Mad Cardigans on Instagram. And if you have any tips or anything like that, let me know. If you have a favorite cheap fabric tip or quilt hack that is just something you'd like to share, please drop it down below, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!